Today's video is sponsored by ExMark, makers of professional grade mowers. So welcome back everyone, Mike here. It is going to be a hot and dry one here today, which is good for the project that we're going to take on here this morning. Today we're going to be installing a French drain down at the brick house. If you're not familiar with the brick house, it's a small brick ranch, nice little place that we bought a couple years ago that joined our existing property, and now my son and his family live there. So that's what we're going to get into here today. And first on the agenda, we need to go pick up a load of stone. Alright, I just picked up 2.5 tons of 2B limestone. Now in the past, I have used both river rock and limestone. My personal preference is the limestone. And the reason is, around here, I can get a cleaner rock in the limestone than I can in river rock. And what I mean by that is there's less fines in the limestone. When you're putting a French drain in, you don't want fines mixed in with the rocks that could clog up your pipe. But anyway, we got that. Now we're going to pick up our pipe. All right, I got my pipe picked up, loaded up in the dump trailer. We're ready to go. But today we're going to be using the 4-inch perforated light wall pipe. You can also use the black corrugated stuff that comes in 50-foot rolls. Once again, it's kind of personal preference. I've had good success using this. I will say though, I have seen other people make some pretty good arguments why the black corrugated stuff works well for them. I've just always used this and it's worked out really well. Alright, so we're down here in the backyard of the brick house, and I'll show you what I have going on here and why I'm going to do what I'm about to do. This area right here, it's nice and flat, but from right about here, it goes uphill about 300 feet. When we get a lot of rain, water comes down that hill and kind of lays in this backyard here. Now, a few years ago, I regraded this swale back here, and it worked good for about 1.5 years. But what happens is, over time, you get some sediment, you get dead grass in there, and there's not much fall. So if it's not perfect and regraded every year, water's going to collect here in the backyard. Now, we haven't had rain for 3 or 4 days, and it's the middle of July. And you can kind of see how wet it is right here. But we're going to take care of this today. Now, the drain that we're going to put in, it's going to serve 2 purposes. Number 1, it will collect any of the rainwater that runs over the surface. And number 2, it will help collect any groundwater. So in other words, we're going to bring the stone all the way to the top of the trench. So anything running down the hill will go into the trench and out the pipe away from the house. So I think before I get started, I'm going to mow this up real quick. I know Levi was planning on mowing this evening when he gets home from work. When we get this all mowed up so I can see a little bit better what's going on, which way the water's moving. I won't be able to get too close in this area right here as it's pretty soft and wet. But we'll get started with that and then we'll start digging. Alright, I got this all mowed up. Well, everywhere except right here where it's really wet. But you can tell from the mud streaks here how much water's laying in here. Right now I'm going to go up and get the excavator, come down, start digging, and get this problem taken care of.
So you can kind of see what one of the problems here is. This is all clay, and what that clay is doing, it's holding all the water on the surface. So we're going to continue to dig for a while, and what I'm doing, I have just a little bit of fall headed towards the machine. Once we fill this ditch up with gravel and put that pipe in there, things will dry out on both sides a little bit. Then we'll kind of grade up on both sides and make sure all that water is directed into this trench. This is going to work out really well.
All right, so I got about half of my trench dug. And by the way, when I was digging that, something that works for me, you may want to keep in mind, I try to keep my disturbance at a minimum and clean up as I go. You know, this is that wet, sloppy clay. It would be really easy to tear up the entire lawn, and that's not what I'm trying to do. But anyway, I just put a fine layer, maybe 1.5 inches of this 2B limestone on the bottom of the trench. Now I'm ready to start putting some pipe in the ground. So this pipe has a bell end on one end. You definitely want that to go on the uphill side. And also you will notice there's 3 sets of holes in this pipe. I put them towards the bottom. The logic there is, you know, silt and sediment and things washing down from the top won't get into your pipe. All right, I'm going to put the next joint of pipe on. Now keep in mind, I am not gluing these pipes together. And the reason is we're not trying to seal anything up. You know, if we were trying to seal it up, there wouldn't be holes in the bottom of the pipe. Now we're going to make sure we have fall going the direction we want, which we do. Now I can start bringing some more stone up here and backfilling it right up to the surface. And when I do that, I'm not just going to dump it in, at least not right away. What I'll do, I'll shovel some in, stand on both sides of the pipe because it's right where I want it right now. And I don't want to knock it around in the trench at all. Well, there you have it. That's about all there is to it. I have some more work to do, but this gives you a pretty good idea how I install a French drain. To kind of review what we talked about today, I decided to use the 4-inch perforated light wall pipe. However, you can use the black corrugated. Also, something to think about. If you have groundwater only, you know, here I'm trying to collect surface water and groundwater. But if you have groundwater only, you could always hold that stone down 4 or 5 inches and put some like woven geotextile over top of it and then topsoil on top of that, and you could mow over it. That's not what I wanted to do here. And I'll tell you what, it is already drying up. This water is finding its way to the trench. I think right in here is where I was stepping around this morning, and you can see it's already drying up. But this is going to work out really well. Well, I think that's it for today's video. I want to thank ExMark for sponsoring today's video. And also I want to mention, check out the link in the description to ExMark Backyard Life. There's tons of tips and videos and how-tos, good stuff. So check it out. And like I always say, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like button, click subscribe, and share them with your friends. Thanks.